30.
Somebody,
Works on it.
they both not coming? They'll be with it. The ones usually.
Now that we have the laws budget, it'll be a much more.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the one thing and the two is.
We'll be doing it tomorrow. I'm not sure now.
To how much of that debt is ours and how we accommodate that. 'Cause it's gonna have to be through the water budget that we accommodate.
I'll call the meeting to order. It is 5:02. I will remind everyone to make a declaration of pecuniary interest if one arises. Now move on to item 3. We have no delegations on the agenda. So we'll jump into 4.1. I have a motion moved by Councillor Bob Wolvett, seconded by Mayor Gary Atkinson, that the minutes be adopted by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee, and that those confidential minutes of the closed session of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, and that is for the meeting from September 7th. Are there any questions or comments about those minutes?
None.
Seeing none,
Sure.
all in favor? Carried.
I'm voting for the right side.
I will move on to section 5, and I have a motion. Moved by Councillor Bob Wolvett, seconded by Mayor Gary Atkinson. Council direct staff to replace all copper water lines on Muskoka Trail. So there's a staff report accompanying that. Just fancy you anything?
So we talked about the Muskoka Trail issue at the Water and Sewer Committee last term. Since the time that the committee and us discussed about isolating the leak as soon as possible and replacing it. A petition was, or a delegation was brought to council in regards to the matter. Council reviewed the information brought forth by the delegation, as well as information brought forth by staff. And given the history of leaks in the area, council agreed that it would be best to endeavor on replacing the water mains as a whole. So staff are in the process of receiving the quotes on that. Gilliard Construction has been contacted, as they have the hydrovac machine, a boring machine, and the excavation equipment we need, plus the knowledge of the area. So they'll be giving us a quote within the coming days and calling for locates to accommodate the work being carried out this fall.
Any questions? Mayor?
No, I think it sounds like it's on track. So the job should be done by snowfall.
You would hope so.
Yes, how many are we doing, Adam? Like, I know some were done already, right?
And yes, anyone that has not all been replaced. Mind you, some of those services were repaired previously. So there's still copper remaining. So those services would be fully replaced as well.
Okay, so like, is there 5 or 7 or do you know, or?
I do know, just not that I can answer you at this instant.
I think there were, I was told there were 2 or 3 that had been done.
Fully, possibly. There was, I think, 2 or 3 more that had been repaired.
I think you're right. There was a couple that have already been done.
So I think 2 have been fully replaced, while 2 to 3 have been repaired. So that would leave, as soon as I zoom in here. So that would leave about 10 to 11 homes left to be replaced.
That many.
So
Will those residents be notified this is happening?
we will be sending out notifications, and we will be hosting a pre-construction meeting. Given the potential disruption to the neighborhood, we want to minimize any inconveniences and work with those property owners.
Okay. So
I just have one question, I guess, because it says that we're replacing all the copper water services within town property. Does that mean we're just replacing up to the curb stop, or are we also replacing all the way to their meter?
We had, most of the services on private property were already plastic.
Okay.
So we're generally replacing to the property line. However, the only The only situation that wouldn't occur is where the service connection is located under a laneway. It would be more economical for us to bore a whole new service in through the front yard and then under the driveway up into the basement and then put a new curb stop and reconnect the new service to the meter. So in that situation, we'd replace it through private property as well with permission of the property owner.
Any other questions? All in favor? Carried. Move on to item 6.1. I have a motion moved by Mayor Gary Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Bob Wolvett. That the accounts as listed be received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee. That's for the water list of August 2023 and the sewer list of August 2023. I'll start with any questions from Councillor Bob Wolvett. You have any?
I don't have any questions on it. No.
Mr. Mayor?
I had one and I'm trying to locate it. I think it was relating to the control system for Wyoming wastewater treatment plant from Sluicer. That was one that we already had scheduled for work to be done there, was it not?
That is the item that council approved under emergency replacement.
Okay. It sounded familiar. And that for Vaza on the Confederation line, was that Confed west or east?
That would have been east and that would have been to expose the water main and other services in the area in preparation for a capital project.
Okay. Okay, that's all that I have.
I've got nothing, so I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Carried. We'll move on to item 7, staff reports. We have nothing on the agenda. Nothing for section 8 under bylaws, so we'll move on to section 9. I have a motion moved by Mayor Gary Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Bob Wolvett. That the minutes from the laws meeting be received for July 27th, 2023. Are there any questions? Councillor Wolvett?
Just, I guess maybe to Adam, Gary too, what's going on with the water tower here in Wyoming? Has there been any more action on that at all, about ownership?
So the laws acquiring the Wyoming water tower is part of the future upgrades plan to the East Lambton system. Those upgrades are currently tagged for the 3 to 8 year mark to be carried out in conjunction with other system reinforcements. So at this time, it's a project waiting in the wings until we get improvements to the West Lambton system done, which were pre-scheduled. And then they'll be looking to start the engineering processes for the East Lambton system, which will include the acquisition of our water tower and the acquisition of approximately a 1/4 acre of our public works garage land to accommodate a new drinking water booster pumping station there.
Yeah, 'cause that's why we were looking at some land out there for a booster station, weren't we, at one time? Yeah, okay, so that, I think what I heard you say, 5 years to 8 years or something is
I
done.
would suggest if anyone's curious, we're hoping that to see that work complete in the next 5 to 10 years.
Because there was, if you don't mind me saying, there was a talk, certainly since I've been on council, about Lost taking that water tower, and then it kind of went by the wayside and didn't happen.
Yes,
So
sir.
I don't know, the reasons don't really matter now, but so it may still happen in the future, it probably will.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, thanks.
For vote, all in favor? Carried. We have nothing under section 10, so we'll move on to section 11 for correspondence, recommended reading. A motion moved by Mayor Gary Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Bob Wolvett. That the correspondence relating to recommended reading and routine approval and information items not otherwise addressed by resolution be noted as received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee and filed accordingly. There's one item under there from Jacobs for the monthly report of August 2023. I will look to my left, Mayor Atkinson, if you have any questions.
No, just a comment on this new manhole covers that were installed along Queen and Dalrymple. No, we'd had some concerns from residents about the smell and the odors out in that area. I'm not familiar with this type of manhole, but I understand other sources that you're supposed to eliminate that and keep it sealed up. Have we used them before? Mr. Szymanski?
We have not. This is the first time we've used those products, so it's more of a trial program for us. So what they are is they're a manhole lid similar to what we use to prevent water coming in.
Right.
But instead of a sealed rubber gasket, it is essentially a filter medium that filters out any sewer gas that comes rising up through the manholes. So it has an activated carbon filter in it to.
Dispensates.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Rule that.
Well, just reading the report there a couple of times, it's kind of an interesting report that some of the stuff that went on in August. Major power failure there. Underground wires melting together. I mean, we're looking at three dates that are very close together. Then on August the 23rd, experienced an abnormal rain event which caused pump stations 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11 all to overflow. Or pardon me, correction, for 2 and 8 overflowed. So, I don't know, these significant rain events, I guess my point is that we're having trouble handling them. And, I don't know if there's anything we can do about it, because these rain events are almost torrential.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what system you got, you can't handle it, but it was 2 or 3 things reported in August that are all pretty serious, including the electrical failure there. So I'm just commenting on it that, that's the kind of stuff we need to be, made aware of when things overflow, because it affects whatever.
Well, overflows happen on a regular basis. So it hasn't been our policy to notify the committee or council of every overflow. Jacobs does provide us an operations report, so you do get, if there is an event where there is an overflow, you do receive that monthly report, which would illustrate that overflow and the reasons for it. In this situation, we did have that torrential rain. This is the same rain that caused a lot of damage in Warwick and Southwest Middlesex. We were quite a bit luckier. We did not see nearly the same level of property damage. So we can have Jacobs email me and then email council right away, or we can continue to have the information come to this committee on a monthly basis as it is here. In the event that there is notable property damage and it's more extensive, yes, council or staff would definitely notify council and committee of that property damage, but because our system is the way it's designed and is susceptible to groundwater infiltration, this is a common occurrence during a heavy rain event.
Personally, I don't see any need for you to let us know, like when you get the information that's really critical, you'll let us know. Yeah, I'm not questioning that whatsoever. Just, when you get to like a couple like 2 and 8 overflowing there and people can't, their sewer, their septics, their sewer system can't get out. That's when it can get.
And actually, this is quite lucky that we have these environmental overflows. It's not great for the environment when you have a sewage overflow, but those actual overflows from those pump stations prevent basements from backing up. So that is what is preventing those basements to back up. And that's why you didn't also see a report about a lot of flooded basements, is because we are lucky to have enough to have those overflows on our pump stations. Today, they rarely approve pump stations with those overflows, but all of our pump stations are equipped with them. And in most of our neighborhoods, it prevents notable basement flooding.
Okay, so that's your safety. So that's
Yes, sir.
good information. Thank you, sir.
You made one other comment. Sorry, what was the second comment you made? In addition to the overflowing? The wiring, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So Jacobs did contact me right away. Basically, the wiring is as old as the plant was, and the ground conditions caused the insulators around those wires, because they were direct buried, to erode away. And because they eroded away, they arced against each other and completely disabled the underground wiring system, which required us to replace the whole wiring system. So Blue Water Power did carry out that work, and I had just saw the invoice go through the accounts payable process a few days ago. So it'll be in your next payables.
That was in the Wyoming treatment plant.
That Plympton treatment plant is where the hydro failure occurred.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, call for vote, all in favor? Carried. We'll move on to section 12, which is new business. Let's start, Mr. Space, you want to start? Yeah, fine.
I do have some under new business. The mayor can fill in the blanks as he attended the meeting in regards to the laws budget, but the laws budget was approved. Our portion, it has gone up notably as the laws budget is increasing to accommodate capital projects to reinforce the system and including providing us with a more stable and better water pressure here in Plympton, Wyoming. Part of the budget does require us to take on debt. The budget shows $5.16 million in debt, and our percentage of that would be approximately just under $450,000. So now that we have this information, it'll be much easier for Norma and I to prepare the water and sewer budget. I had promised to bring it to you this meeting, but knowing laws was coming with their budget when they did, and we were catching up in other areas, I decided to delay bringing you a draft budget till next meeting. So Norm and I will sit down and look at that debt and whether we finance it internally from our own reserves, or if we have to go out to Infrastructure Canada. We'll see what position we are in financially as a municipality as a whole, and if we can work using our reserves to offset that debt without making us take out debt, that'd be the preferred way. If we're gonna end up taking out debt anyways, we may just need to do so at this time for the laws to venture. This will likely not be the only budget where laws requests us to take out debt load. They have millions and millions of dollars of upgrades to do in the next 10 years to ensure that Lambton County customers can continue to grow at their current rates.
Constable Vet, do you have any questions?
The only statement I'm gonna make is that, you know, a lot of people are not looking seriously enough at what's going on in the economy. And I'll bet you in the next couple of months, that's all we're gonna hear is large increases in budgets. And it bothers me to see it, because you can see the slowdown big time just in our housing, not just here in Plympton, Wyoming, but all over. And you know, we've seen it here already, and they keep coming to us, you know, smaller municipality, you know, well, you know, we need more money. I don't know, somewhere along the line, and this isn't one to play with, I'll tell you that, with our water and our sewer, but we really got to start to think about, you know, just, yep, well, yeah, that's fine, that increase is fine. Like, I think there's got to be some resistance put up, not just, yeah, we'll go and approve, we'll increase it. And I'm gonna be saying that at every time I hear about I'm talking about a large budget increase, because it's, in my opinion, it's out of control. Like, it's just totally out of control in everybody's economy. Not gonna be able to keep up with all of this. So I see it here, and well, my goodness, we got some of the best water in the world, but when it comes to our budget and all these small municipalities, it's gonna have a big effect in the future. And there's only one thing can happen, and we all know it. You got up your taxes, you got up your user rates. The people are struggling now, so anyways, that's we're gonna hear it.
And for this department in general, that is a $95,000 approximately increase. We should be able to work that into our current budget and still maintain our recommended increases under our financial plan, but it gets tighter and tighter every time you see an increase like that. And the key point to remember in this increase is that operations is increasing by a reasonable level. This is all capital work. Laws has not done any major capital upgrades since the system was amalgamated together through the amalgamation order. And it's getting to the point where major increases are needed if the surrounding municipalities want to continue to grow. So it kind of puts us between a rock and a hard place on this one.
Yeah, we don't have much of a choice, that's for sure. Thank you.
Anderson, you want anything?
I have nothing to add.
So, and no other new business? Nothing?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, there's nothing under item 13 for closed, so I will move to section 14. I have a motion moved by Councillor Bob Wolvette, seconded by Mayor Gary Atkinson, that the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee regular meeting be adjourned until the next regular meeting held October 5th, 2023 at 5 p.m. All in favor?
I think October the 5th is actually today. I think it should be the November date on that.
You're right. What is that date? I don't know. I got-
November 2nd, I think.
November second.
You okay with that amendment to the?
I'll have to check that. Yeah, I think we'll be
I
okay.
think we want to rush the year out, but not that quick.
November 2nd, 2023. All in favor? Carried.
Goal. For next meeting, you'll have a look at Ella, what she did for the cemetery committee. We'll have to bring back the schedule for next year's meetings.
Yeah, I have it on my board.
Thank you.
Thank you to anyone who watched or joined us. That's everything. Thank you.
We did that for the fire too, or today, just today, Ella sent that to the dates.